The podcast you are about to listen to contains at least one of the following: strong language, disturbing topics, abusive opinions, generally things that aren't appropriate for little kids or overly sensitive people. So, if any of that stuff's going to get your nose out of joint, this is your chance to turn it off.
Feelings don't matter, so brace yourself tight. He'll lay it down heavy, he'll light up the night. No sugar-coated tales, just cold hard facts. In the realm of opinions, there's no turning back. Listen closer, just walk away. But Aaron had to say it, come what may. Here comes Aaron with the truth untold. No holding back, watch the truth unfold. On the podcast, airways feel the righteous sting. You either take it in or let the silence ring.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of I Had to Say It. So we're going to start out as we do by saying to Iceman, Jason, Mike, Tabby, Javier, Fitz, McShane, El Jefe, El Devlin, El Morte, to the guys from the Willard Report, to Billy G, and to Walt from the B-Raw Podcast. Thank you for your continued support. It means a lot to me. I really do appreciate it. So more of the usual's been going on. More protests outside of Tesla dealerships, more fire bombings, more juvenile, childish behavior from the left. Pretty much to the surprise of no one at all. And kind of in that same vein, you know, the same talking head, yammering, career parasite Democrat motherfuckers that were utterly silent for the last 4 years as a completely incompetent and inept, senile old man surrounded himself by competent and inept DEI hires and utterly failed this country in any meaningful fucking way, were utterly silent, are just out there yammering, oh, Signalgate, Pete Hegseth should resign, and Tulsi Gabbard should resign, and Trump should fire everybody, and all these people calling for consequences that never once have called for accountability in the last 4 fucking years. But as soon as it's not their team behind the fucking reins again, they're out there running their fucking yamps. It's utterly disgusting, utterly disheartening that these people ever found their way into power. I mean, definitely the definition of, you know, power attracts the most unfucking worthy, and that's what we've got. At least in, you know, a lot of ways with all these career parasite motherfuckers. And I'll be honest, Trump to this point, he's been trying to do a lot of things, but he has all these activist judges trying to hamstring him and cancel every fucking executive order he has. Some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. Most of them I agree with, actually, because I'm all for deporting illegals and fucking disbanding the Department of Education and rooting out corruption and waste and inefficiency, because literally at the end of the day there has been decades of no consequences for all the corruption, these parasites getting rich on our fucking dime, bankrupting our future generations to aggrandize themselves. And now that accountability is coming forward, they're doing and saying and screaming everything they can to try and stop it. And the utter retardation of the fucking general population of this country, anybody that's, you know, left of center to extreme left at this point, anybody who's leaning into this like Elon's the devil. And I have been surprised when I'm seeing footage of interviews going on at all these Tesla protests. I mean, first off, you've got Tesla protests that are wrapping up neatly at noon, because apparently that's for all the time they paid for was for a 4-hour protest over the weekend. And we've got all these fucking morons that are out here, and Elon's a Nazi, Elon's a bad guy, but there's so many of them are just geriatric motherfuckers too, which I really don't understand. And the only thing I can come up with, the only theory I have as to why all these stupid senile old fucks that should know better are out here protesting Elon is because these are literally the only people that still consume mainstream news. These are the only people that are still out there watching MSNBC or CNN or any of the other fucking news channels to get their information. So, of course, they automatically believe that Elon's the devil, Elon's a Nazi, Elon's trying to take over the country, Elon is lining his own pockets. And they're, you know, blissfully ignorant to the fact. And I literally saw some younger guy out there trying to talk to one of these old cocksuckers, and he just kept throwing up the Nazi salute. He did this, he did this, he did this. Like literally zero critical thought capabilities. And then, and like one of the cappers is come to find out this motherfucker's pissed off because his wife works for a company that got a $35 million USAID grant that was canceled because of Doge. And he's mad about that shit. So literally admitted to being part of the fucking corruption. And just, but still, you look at these protests, they're not young people. You look at all these town halls the Democrats are going out and trying to have in Republican states because, instead of doing their jobs and representing their constituents, they have to go out and try and flip the blue sections. You got different Democrats going to like Michigan and fucking different places, going to Republican districts and trying to, since your representatives aren't having town halls, we're here to talk to you. They're full of the same fucking cell phone traced Democrat paid actors and geriatrics. There are no young people in these crowds that I've seen even the deranged purple-haired nose ring having fucking retards are not nearly as prevalent as they were. It's like losing last year broke a lot of these fucking smooth-brained fucks, and I'm okay with that. They've fallen back to their default position of being locked in a room, pointing a cell phone in their own face, and recording their fucking breakdowns for internet clout, because the real world's big and scary, and they don't want to be out there dealing with that. They rather just have people tell them how right they are for their posting their fucking meltdowns. I don't understand the mentality behind this. It's a bunch of spoiled fucking kids. The kids who never learned the difference between good attention and bad attention because mommy and daddy were too busy being out trying to, raise these ungrateful little bastards to a better standard of life than what they grew up with, because that's generally what generations have done up until recently. And in a lot of ways, I've said it before, I'll say it again, it is partly our generation's fault for the way these fucking retards have turned out, because we were so busy trying to focus on getting by, getting ahead, and providing a better life for them that we didn't spend enough attention making sure that, not thinking about the fact that kids that were primarily raised by grandma and grandpa because mom and dad were at work all the time were raised by grandma and grandpa was subsequently spoiled because grandma and grandpa didn't raise the grandkids the same way they raised their kids. And they overcompensated for things they might have regretted and they were doing in their child's upbringing. So the grandkids never had to deal with that same shit, so they don't get the same discipline, the same ethic. I think that's part of it. I have a lot of theories about the whole situation, but that's a contributing factor for sure. I've talked about it in the past. It's in old episodes. If you're really worried about it, go back and find it. I'm sure. Lord knows I could use the downloads. But ultimately, it's more of the status quo. It's more of the whole, Trump's not accomplishing any of the stuff he campaigned on and he promised. And then, they say that shit without the slightest hint of irony to the fact that they're actively trying to stop him from fulfilling said promises. Like, he didn't bring down the price of eggs the first week. Yeah, you slaughtered 600 million chickens right before Biden left, you dumb fucks. Chickens take 20 weeks to reach fertility age. It happens. It's not going to be an overnight fix. Anybody with more than a modicum of common sense knows things like that. But, again, common sense is not real strong with these assholes. Which kind of brings me to the main thing I was really thinking about as I sit down to record this. And like I said, outside of the Tesla protests, which are, anytime the left protests, something's going to catch on fire, something's going to burn, somebody's going to get fucking hurt. Again, petulant children. I talked about this last week. I'm not going to try and harp on it too much. Like I said, petulant children never got their hands slapped when they were kids, grow up to be whiny, petulant, juvenile adults. And I say adults as in just old, fat children, because they never really matured mentally or emotionally. They just got old and fat. Or old and skinny. Some of them look pretty fucking tweakered out. But again, I digress. A lot of these rallies and protests outside of the Teslas and a lot of the ICE ones too, just, it's people in the middle of the fucking day. Like, you assholes don't have jobs to be at, obviously, or you're being paid to be there. Maybe protesting is your job. But like I said, a lot of geriatrics, a lot of fucking illegals, and I still don't understand why they're not raiding these protests and arresting everybody that's there. And then, if you're a citizen, we'll let you go. But if you're not, via con Dios, motherfuckers. That would just make logical sense to me. It's like putting big screaming fucking targets all over the place with fucking professionally printed signs saying we ain't going back. If you love the country that you're waving the flag of so fucking much, go back there. You don't need to be here. We don't want you here. And I'm saying that is, yes, if you don't have loyalty to the country you've moved to, you don't have any fucking business being there. That'd be like me being in fucking Beirut, walking around in the Stars and Stripes, screaming Old Glory and telling everybody they needed to respect my shit. My head would be on a fucking pike outside of the village before the end of the fucking day if I tried that shit over there. But again, I digress. The thing I really was thinking about as I sat down here is I need to step away from social media for a little while because this shit is really starting to, it's just irritating the living fuck out of me. These weak-minded, retarded motherfuckers are out here putting together their nonsense. and it's all flexing for internet clout. And for whatever reason, the algorithm just keeps showing it to me, and it's infuriating in a lot of ways because it's putting me into a bad headspace personally. It's putting me into a mindset that I don't need to be sliding into at this point in my life because a lot of people who, I mean, I know you guys that listen to this on a regular basis, a bit of, I've talked about things in my past and things I've done and things I've said and things I'm proud of, things I'm not so proud of. I don't really filter it. I mean, because at the end of the day, I appreciate everybody that listens. I really do. I don't ever see this thing becoming more than just, kind of a version of therapy for me. It's not like I have these dreams of becoming a famous podcaster and changing the world, but I do this for me as much as I love all of you guys that listen on a regular basis and the people who reach out to me and talk to me about the show. I'm doing this because in some weird way it helps me, but sometimes I feel like I said, social media, it impacts all of us positively, negatively. There's a lot of good that's come from it. There's a lot of terrible shit that's come from it. Unrealistic expectations for how life is supposed to work. People having being miserable with their own lives because they're not meeting up with whatever standard they think they need to meet from whatever influencers they follow. Not realizing that in a lot of ways, a lot of that shit is bullshit and just shown for the camera. Reality is checked out of this fucking situation a long time ago. It's like when they used to talk about reality TV, and the reality was not a factor in reality TV. But, that's why a lot of the stuff I consume is, smaller scale stuff because I feel like it's more authentic in a lot of ways, a lot of vlogs and shit like that. But the problem with that is you get a lot of people that don't seem to understand not everything in your life needs to be put on the fucking internet. Not everything needs to be documented and recorded to have any sort of significance or relevance. You don't need that constant external validation from other people because, and I promise this is leading up to something, because when you have that mentality of you need to document everything, you need to record everything, you need to throw everything on the internet, that's why you get these sniveling, whining retards that are on here posting, oh, well, I can't believe this. I'm so disappointed in the world. I'm so infuriated. I'm so mad at Donald Trump. I'm so mad I have to cut my father off because he voted for that orange bastard. All these fucking retarded leftists having meltdowns over the most trivial bullshit, and then going out and taking the time to set up a camera and making sure your lighting is accurate and everything so you can cry on camera about how miserable you are with your current situation in the world, the vast majority of which does not directly impact your day-to-day life, but for some odd reason, between consuming mainstream media, leftist propaganda, college propaganda, whatever it is that is whatever particular facet of this shit that has conditioned these fucking retards to think the world revolves around them and anybody gives a shit about their personal meltdowns, their inability to process grief, disappointment, failure, whatever it is that's got them in their fucking feels at the particular moment where they feel like, oh my God, the world is so unfair and it's so dramatic. And then you get... And we've got a new flavor of fucking retard coming out of this situation where, and like I said, maybe it's my algorithms, maybe it's the content I consume, maybe for whatever reason, I've been seeing so much of this shit in the last 5 to 7 days, and it's all kind of got the same themes. Oh, well, if they're going to start throwing us in jail for protesting, wait till the real shit starts. And it's like, no, first off, you think you're protesting by destroying private property and destroying public businesses, and that's not protesting. And there's been a lot of footage coming out of people harassing Tesla owners, which we talked about last week. The vast majority of these Tesla owners are people who bought Teslas before Elon flipped sides and are being harassed. They're liberals being harassed by other fucking liberals. They're eating their own, kind of like I said. There's literally footage of a guy who boxed in a woman driving a Tesla, an elderly, well, not elderly, but a late middle-aged woman, I want to say she was 50-something, got boxed in by this big fucking retard leftist who got out of the car and assaulted her in her vehicle because she was driving a Tesla. Didn't know her from fucking Adam. Wasn't some other aggression. It was literally this guy saw her car, got so infuriated, saw a little woman behind the wheel, boxed her in so she couldn't, literally ran her off into the shoulder of the road, pulled in front of her, got out of the car, and assaulted her. And it's all on camera because those cars have wraparound cameras as part of the self-driving feature. These fucking retards. And, there's people out there, we're going to spray paint swastikas on Elon's Teslas, and we're going to carve swastikas in with our keys, and we're going to key your cars. You're literally walking around cars that are filming you fucking doing it. Again, childish, juvenile, disassociated from reality, think they're not going to get in trouble because they're the main character. They're the most important thing. Oh, well, I'm just expressing my disappointment with Elon Musk. And that they all have, like, the ones that I've seen getting confronted about it, they all have the same, like, oh, well, it wasn't me. I have you on video, you dumb motherfucker. Well, I can't believe you support Elon. Motherfucker, you destroyed my personal property because you have a beef with a guy who owns 20% of the company. And that's the thing, other thing. A lot of these morons don't understand other liberals own stock in this company because up until recently it was a good investment. It was making a lot of money, and it was doing things that they supported, their agenda, eco-conscious, blah, blah, blah. But again, short-sighted, weak-minded, juvenile, fucking retards. So we see all this new violence coming out of that. And honestly, it's not like the left being the side of violence is a new thing in and of itself. Because you can look back at the Summer of Love. You can look at the first time Trump got elected and the first inauguration in 2017. They literally were fucking out there lighting fires and tearing shit up while Trump was being sworn into office the first time when Hill Dog lost. Yeah, they were doing that shit then. Then you fast forward another 4 years. Oh, look, the Republicans got out of line for 3 hours. It's the end of the world. Oh, my God. Blah, 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 blah. Another 4 years. Oh, shit. Here we go again. They're burning shit down. They're destroying private property. They're destroying property of other individuals because they didn't get their fucking way and they're not happy. And they don't know how to process their emotions and their thoughts and their feelings like big boys and girls. They have to do it like the little spoiled fucking retards they are. And it is utterly pathetic. It's a failure of society. It's a failure of humanity. It's a failure of all these things. And the second or third degree consequence of this, depending on how you look at it, is since these morons have no grounding in reality, they have no they've never really experienced any real adverse things. They've had, like permissive, liberal, hands-off, soft parenting. A lot of them, they're white millennial parents, or they're white tail end Gen Xer, hands-off, gentle parenting motherfuckers, raise these spoiled, retarded motherfuckers to not understand consequences, because you could tell a lot of them never got hit in the fucking mouth growing up, and they probably should have. But, we were too busy trying to end bullying, because bullying is bad, because if my kid comes home and cries, and instead of, building up those emotional and mental calluses where you can learn how to process failure and learn how to process being unhappy and learn how to cope and live with it like a normal human being, these things become world-shattering to you because you never had to deal with them in small stages when you were a kid. So now that you're an adult and you're dealing with the fact that reality doesn't give a fuck at the end of the day about your feelings, about your little, oh my God, I tried my hardest and I didn't get what I wanted, but I should still be happy because I tried really, really, well, not really, really hard, but I tried as hard as I wanted to, and I should still get... No, you fucking retard. You don't deserve to be happy. You deserve to be a failure because that's what you fucking are. So we have all these disconnected retards out here flailing about on social media, throwing tantrums, throwing hissies, and then there's the new facet of them who are the threateners. And this is where I kind of went off on that little tangent about how this show in a lot of ways is therapy for me, and I need to get the fuck away from social media for a while because I'm turning back into somebody I'm not really, the biggest fan of for a lot of reasons. And I wasn't always the guy I feel coming back out either. I mean, it took me a while to get there and kind of lean into it, but I'm at the point now where I'm like, honestly, I wish I would run into some of these motherfuckers because I'm so sick to death of seeing these just like soy-fed, never go outside, never do any physical activity, look fragile, look like a fart in a high fucking wind would blow them the fuck away on social media, that somehow have it in their head that they are threatening anybody or they are intimidating anybody. Or you get these old motherfuckers who are obviously not the people that were ever hard cases growing up. But all of a sudden they feel like they can fucking threaten people. And God, all the liberal white women are the fucking worst. I'm not going to apologize for saying it. It is a simple fact. These purple-haired land whales with fucking septum piercings and all kinds of shit where it looks like a tackle box blew up in their face, talking about, oh, well, I'm swearing off white men. You know what? Good. We don't want you. Oh, well, real men don't know how to... What the fuck would you know? Real men don't want anything to do with yours. Just manipulative, shrill, shrieking, harpy-esque bullshit. And oh, well, if you don't get out of my way, I'm going to step on your toes. Bitch, please do. I mean, I'm at the point where, and again, these are the things that make me really concerned for my own character development, and I feel like I'm backsliding from a personal standpoint, but I'm at the point where I am going to, if I get one of these arrogant, loudmouth cunts in my face, and I'm using the universal non-gender specific cunt as in he, she, they, them, it, their, whatever, I don't fucking care. If I get any of these leftist retards screaming and hollering in my face, I'm going to lean into it. I'm going to provoke the ever-loving fuck out of them until they lose their temper and they think their main character syndrome is going to keep them safe and they take a poke at me. At this point, I'm inviting it. I want it to happen. I want somebody to give me an excuse to vent all my frustration, my irritation, my fucking general disgust with the direction my life's going, in large part due to these fucking entitled whiny cunts and the fucking shit they've allowed to happen to my fucking country and the society I thought we were building that somehow got derailed somewhere along the lines. I was like, I hate this fucking timeline for so many fucking reasons. And part of me just wants to fucking have that release, that fucking check valve of all the fucking shit I internalize on a daily fucking basis because I know how to be a grown-up. I know what I have to do. I know what I need to do to take care of my family, to take care of my business, keep my job, keep my family safe, keep my family fed, keep my bills paid, keep my lights on, keep my fucking water flowing. All the things I need to do because I am a responsible adult and I can't be out here crying in the fucking street because, oh my God, it's so unfair. I didn't get my fucking way. And I was always told that what I want is what I deserve. So blah, 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 blah. But instead, I knuckle up. I go to fucking work. I do my business. I mind my own. And I don't get out of hand where I'm going to be the one on the hook. And again, I live in fucking the communist state of Illinois where the victims are only fucking, the victims if they happen to be the ones perpetrating the crimes because they're a certain pigmentation or a certain orientation. Because if you're a straight white male in the state of Illinois and you act to defend yourself, there's a very real chance you're going to get put in, or at least where I live, there's a very real chance I'll wind up in front of some activist judge that just let the guy that fucking raped 4 teenagers out on a fucking ankle monitor. But since I'm a straight white guy, they're going to throw me under the fucking jail to wait for my hearing. No bail, no fucking, I mean, it's retarded. I hate it here. But I'm like I said, part of me really wants one of these motherfuckers to get in my face because none of them have the emotional maturity or the mental depth to fucking deal with somebody like me who's going to go for fucking blood verbally until they break because I want them to take a poke at me. And then, like I said, I don't give a fuck what they are, man, woman, they, them, it, he, owl folk, whatever the fuck they're calling themselves these days. As soon as you put your hands on me, I'm going to take that as intent, and I'm going to defend myself. And I'm going to do it with vim, vigor, and gusto. I'm going to swing until my fucking arms get tired because I didn't feel safe. I felt threatened. I felt my life was in jeopardy because the purple-haired warrior had spent all this time telling me about how they were lucky how I was lucky they weren't kicking my ass. And that's the other thing I've seen. A lot of fucking, like I said, just pencil-necked soy boy motherfuckers like, oh, well, I can't be around you Trump supporters because I don't know what I'll do, so I just stay in my house. You stay in your house because you're a fucking 35-year-old virgin that lives in your parents' fucking basement. You've never fucking seen pussy without paying for it, and you are not intimidating anybody, you neckbeard-having fuckwit. And, you're not staying away from society because you didn't quit. You didn't have to quit your job because you couldn't be around the Trumpers or you'd start punching them. You quit your job because you're a lazy sack of shit and you just didn't want to work anymore. And you figured now you had an excuse. Not a single Trumper's out there worried that you're going to hurt them. You're probably more worried you can't control your temper like a grown-up and you know you're going to do something stupid and get your fucking ass handed to you. It's just... I don't understand the mindset behind these fucking retards. I don't know why they think they are somehow intimidating. And like I said, it's not just like soy boy, little neckbeard having motherfucking boys and purple-haired fucking land whales with septum piercings that want to be, I don't need no man, durka, straight white men are the worst, durka, and all this other fucking retarded horse shit that I hear just funneling out of these people's mouths, and old motherfuckers who should know better and shouldn't be so inclined to jump in front of their fucking cell phone to try and record these videos. But I don't know if they're trying to stay hip and cool and trying to identify with young people like, hey, I'm still relevant. No, you geriatric fuck, you're embarrassing yourself. But again, not a single one of these people is fucking intimidating, but they all seem to think they are somehow being validated by, oh, well, you're lucky. We're going to start bringing real violence to the streets. Motherfucker, there are a lot of us out here that wish you fucking would. And maybe that's my, maybe that's my inner, like, hood rat or something. Maybe that's just the fucking part of me that I try and keep suppressed, because when I used to let him have the reins, I used to get in a lot of trouble. Maybe it's the part of me that just says, you know what, like, and you go back to like the original Kings of Comedy. I'm pretty sure it was Cedric the Entertainer who said it. He says, the main, although he tried to make it, difference between white folks and black folks was white folks hope nothing happens and black people wish something would. I must be a little bit black because I wish a motherfucker would. I really wish somebody would test my fucking gangster. I wish somebody would get out of pocket with me because, frankly, like I said, I could use the stress release. Because am I going to let some, soy-fed, neckbeard motherfucker put their hands on me and just walk? Oh, fuck no. And yeah, I'm old, I'm fat, I'm out of shape. I'm getting back into shape. I'm not in shape yet. I'm not arrogant enough to say I'm in shape yet. I'm not as strong as I know I'm not as strong as I once was, but I'm probably a lot meaner than a lot of these motherfuckers think they are. And you get these, like I said, these leftist retards are, oh, well, we're going to start doing real violence if you start prosecuting us for this petty, juvenile horse shit that we're doing now. You start throwing us in jail for our expressions of ourselves. We're going to start doing real violence. Yeah, but you're threatening the side that has most of the guns and, frankly, more of the contempt. They're arrogant, they're self-important, they're disgusting human beings. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people out there that are really hitting that threshold. And like I said, I'm not gonna go out and start a fight. It's not in my nature. I'm not gonna go out there looking for trouble. I joke about it a lot. I talk a lot of shit, but I'm not going to go out and actively put myself in a situation that's going to potentially injure me, cost me money to get patched up by a doctor, or land me in fucking jail. But I'm also not going to fucking run away from the situation should it arise. If the opportunity should present itself, I'm not going to backpedal or allow these arrogant fuckwads to reinforce their delusions that they are somehow intimidating or, being the main character. Oh, fuck no. They're going to realize they wandered into my fucking story, not the other way around. Or maybe, they'll spend the rest of their lives reminiscing on that big, bald, fat fuck who strolled into their story and had the audacity to be the main villain because he broke their fucking arms for having the audacity to touch his hat or some shit. Again, I'm just spitballing here. When the circumstances arise, we'll deal with that bridge when we get to it. And maybe it's just something about my general demeanor, but I find for the most part, even when I'm in situations where that kind of dumb shit, crowd mentality, sheep motherfuckers are out there, they generally tend to leave me alone. Maybe it's, my attitude. Maybe it's the aura I project. Who the fuck knows? With the exception of when back when Obama was in office, when they were having their Occupy Wall Street protests in Chicago, and I happened to be working in Chicago, I did have one protester that was dumb enough to get in my face and start screaming at me and calling me a wage slave and all this other shit. And the only reason I didn't put him in the fucking hospital is because I happened to see the police officer standing about 6 feet away from me. And so I just kind of cussed him out a little bit and walked away. And got a head nod from the cop, so something in my face must have said he at least the cop realized I was getting ready to fuck that kid up. But again, I digress. It's besides the point. I mean, I spent most of my life not being, that guy, not being the violent person, not being the one going out and hurting people. I mean, I've never been somebody who hurt people for no fucking reason. That's not who I am. But I've, there were a lot of times where I probably should have reacted with more violence than I did because I spent my childhood being told, oh, you're a big guy. You don't want to hurt anybody. You got to be careful. You could really hurt somebody if you lost your temper. You need to control your temper. And for years I did. And for years I had that little voice in the back of my head. And much as I love her, it was the voice of my mother saying, don't do that. You're going to hurt somebody. And then at some point I let it go and leaned into it. And for a while I leaned into it a little too heavy. And then I kind of pulled back from the edge and realized that was not the way to go either. But I digress. I'm getting all babbly and ranty. The point is, I don't understand what possesses these fucking idiots to somehow think they are more than what they are. To somehow think they are in any kind of position to lecture anyone else in the country. To somehow think they are relevant enough that they can be sitting out here like, well, I want Elon Musk to know I think he's a piece of shit. Who the fuck are you? You're some nobody asshole from fucking Goose fuck Arkansas who only has, you've got 3,200 followers on fucking TikTok or whatever, and you think you're somehow important. It's like, no, OnlyFans girls selling their buttholes have more followers than you. You're a fucking irrelevant fuckwit. You're out here trying to make some self-report video because you're hoping you'll go viral and all of a sudden everybody will know your name and everybody will recognize you, when realistically you're just a pathetic waste of flesh that contributes nothing to society, and all you want to do is stand out there and try and do something to make yourself feel special, make yourself feel relevant. Like, oh, look, I am the pretty one. I am getting asked to the dance. No, motherfucker, you're really not. You're sad. The only other people that are out here supporting you are other sad fucking losers. People that also contribute nothing, but them validating you somehow in their minds helps validate them, and they hope you'll reciprocate. And when they tell you you're pretty, you're going to tell you, oh no, you're the pretty one. And you guys can go around in an ineffectual circle jerk until you're content that all of your failures and shortcomings literally are not your fault. It's not your responsibility. It's society that's wrong. It's the orange man bad. It's the fucking conservative people are bad. They're stopping us from being successful. It's not that our ideologies are flawed and our fucking characters are weak. It's that everyone else is the bad guy and everyone else is the problem. It's never us. We're the good ones. We're the main characters. We're the pretty ones. Everyone else, the people that are healthy and in shape and attractive, they're actually the bad guys. And us, we're embracing our fucktitude and being, body positive, because being a fucking greasy, nasty land whale, that's the real strength. That takes personality. Suing an airline because I can't fit into two fucking seats that are right next to each other, and I don't think it's fair that I have to pay for the two seats even though I have one ass cheek in each one and a fucking armrest up my fucking asshole. But no, that's discriminatory that they didn't make the plane fat fuck friendly. No, the problem is you're a fat fuck, you're a failure at being a human, and you should probably be dead if it wasn't for society somehow keeping you alive. So you keep pumping money into fucking big pharma's coffers by them keeping you alive through medical intervention because your fucking diet and your self-discipline are fucking ass. Wow, that really got derailed there for a minute. But yeah, that's like I said, that's kind of where I'm at this point. I'm grumpy. Like I said, I'm not actively looking for trouble, but part of me would kind of welcome a little bit, I mean, nothing that's going to, cost me my job or my freedom if I can fucking help it. But man, part of me just really wishes one of these little fucking soy-fed motherfuckers would be feeling a little too self-important and make a bad choice. And realistically, as I've made no secret of at this point, I'm a person who believes in EDC. I have everyday carry items that are always on me. Those are, I have a cordless hole puncher on me at all times. If I leave the house, I am fucking armed. I have a lighter on me at all times. I have a knife on me at all times, because those are things I think you should always have on your person. Means to make a fire and means to cut something in case you get stuck in a situation. And I'm not even talking about like survival situations. I'm talking like what if your fucking car rolls over on the side of the highway because you got in an accident and you need to be able to cut your seatbelt to get the fuck out of the car. Or if your car breaks down in the middle of bumfuck nowhere and you can go off to the side of the road and gather up some sticks and shit and light a little fire so you can stay warm and not die. Little things. It's just, and working as close to Chicago as I do, the gun is definitely a necessity at this point because, I might die in the process, but I'm taking a couple people with me. And unlike most of the fucking gangbanging piece of shit assholes in Chicago, I can actually shoot. But like I said, it's not that I don't want violence where it's like I'm going to feel the need to draw down, but really, just bitch slapping a couple of people would probably make me feel better. And I'm not even talking like, physically putting somebody in the hospital. I just mean like a literal backhand a couple of these assholes. Just to knock the smug out of these motherfuckers would make me feel so happy right now. And maybe that says more about me than it does about them. Maybe I need to go get counseling and a teddy bear and a hug or whatever the fuck it is. But at the end of the day, this is my show and I talk about how I feel about these things. And that's how I feel. I feel like these little fuckers should have gotten their asses kicked when they were growing up. Maybe it's not too late. Maybe if they get their asses kicked now, they'll pull their heads out of their ass and, go try and build back up some muscle because they got humiliated by some middle-aged fat guy who bitch slapped them in a parking lot. And, maybe they'll start hitting the gym. And once they get their testosterone levels back up, they'll pull their heads out of their ass, because I've noticed that people that work out and start to get back in shape tend to lean more conservatively, because apparently when your body's working properly and you're not a pathetic fat sack of shit, your brain functions a little better too. So I guess, I don't know. Maybe brain functioning well is not something I should be ruminating on, because my brain doesn't appear to be functioning very well. I keep getting sidetracked. I keep getting off topic. And as per usual, it's late. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Thanks for listening to another episode, guys. If you liked what you heard, leave a comment, leave a review, leave a rating. Go to ihadtosayitpodcast.com. Sign up for the mailing list. Interact with the show. Click the links, sign up for the Patreon, join the Discord, come and interact, be a part of the show, buy the merch, support your favorite creator, or support me. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Till next time.